Welcome to the Felt Dyslexic Artist Interview. My name is Liz Buckridge. For me, as a dyslexic artist, other artists and creatives have always been my number one inspiration. In these interviews, we talk with artists and creatives who share their stories and we gain insight into their process from inspiration to art tips, career building, and more. We're so lucky to listen to the wisdom of Lisette Rooney today. I'm so excited to hear about her past and future projects and her insights on life as an artist. Hi, Lisette.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you for talking with us today.
Yeah, excited.
Okay, I'm going to jump right in. So, describe the art you make. What mediums do you primarily work in, and why do you choose that medium?
So when I first started in kind of my art journey, it was a young kid. I went to different magnet schools, and we worked in all different mediums, primarily painting and drawing. And then once I got to high school, the introduction of photography became available, and I fell in love. I loved being in the dark room and sort of like mysterious and fun. It was exciting to watch the images kind of come to life. And yeah, so that stayed with me all through my adulthood, and wasn't until I had kids that I had a little more time on my hands to sort of explore my art again. And photography was an easy segue for me to be able to do that. So yeah, and currently photography is a business, and sort of my passion, my love that I do on the side is pottery. So I've been working in clay for the past 4 years, working in that medium.
Oh, I did not know that. So, do you work in any other mediums, or have you worked in any other mediums besides pottery and photography?
Yeah, painting, drawing, primarily acrylics when it comes to paint. I've gone through periods of leatherworking, making jewelry. So I just love anything that's tactile, that keeps the mind busy. You know what I mean? It's also be able to relax. So yeah, anything that I can do with my hands makes
I hear that.
me happy.
How did you get into making art? Can you tell us about your background, like how you first became interested in art?
So, my mother, who was an early childhood educator and also worked with children on the spectrum, used art as a modality to help so they could express themselves. And when I came along, I was extremely hyperactive and I needed some sort of outlet. And art was an easy go to. And thank goodness I had a mother that had that educational background. So I was in art classes very young. And then starting in sixth grade through 12th grade, I attended three different magnet art schools in Miami, which, built a large portfolio throughout those years.
Wow. Um, how did you get into your specific style, I guess? I mean, you talked a little bit about being introduced into the photography darkroom, but how did
Mhm.
you get into the way that you,
The way that I currently shoot.
yeah.
Yeah, it's people have always been an inspiration to me. So when I was young, and our my high school was located in downtown Miami, I would work a lot with kind of street style, and kind of documents the homelessness that was in downtown Miami at the time. But yeah, people have always been an inspiration, so that has just carried throughout. It's not only working with people when you're shooting, but I love editing just as much because you see all of the nuances. You see like the family connections, the way, oh, really looks like dad, or he's got the eyes of his grandmother, or you know, I love all of those different types of nuances that I see after the fact.
Oh my God, that's very cool. So, um, this is going to be a little bit out of left field, maybe, but do you consider yourself neurodivergent or neurotypical?
So, a highly functioning neurodivergent, I think. I was definitely dyslexic. I still am. If I'm rushing, I will spell half of a word and then I'll continue writing and go back and fill in the other half and keep going. But I think that always lends itself to a different perspective that a lot of artists have, and that's why they gravitate towards art, because they have a different way of looking at the world that maybe a neurotypical does not. So definitely a benefit for sure.
I agree. Have you faced any challenges or setbacks in your art career, and how did you overcome them?
I don't think I've really had any setbacks. I'm extremely driven, so that's why I say I'm a highly functional neurodivergent. Because I'm very organized. I think that kind of helps keep things in line. Um, there's times where, business might be slower or I'm not having a great day in the pottery, because the clay is just not molding the way I want it to. And then you just have to take a step back, take a deep breath, just start over. So, and that's why I love clay so much, is that you can always shape it into something that, might not have been your original intention, but it still comes out into a beautiful product.
That's cool. So, where did you grow up?
I was born in the Dutch Caribbean and Aruba. And when we immigrated to the States, we were in New York for a few years. And then the main portion of my childhood was spent in Miami, Florida.
Oh. And you did art when you were a kid. Do you remember when that started, when you first were drawn to art?
I mean, from as before I can even remember. I even remember going to um, my sister had been born, and we're 2.5 years apart. And I remember bringing my like tin of crayons with me to the hospital because I knew that my mom probably needed me to keep myself busy. But yeah, it was just always a part of my life.
I love that. Okay, so this is my favorite subject personally, but do you have a favorite colorway for your art? And is the colorway for your art different or the same as the colors in your home?
So with photography, right, we're dealing with like all spectrums of color. I definitely veer away from shooting near trees because the green color cast is really difficult to edit for me personally. Um, in terms of painting, I definitely go towards blue. Blue is like blue, Caribbean, like turquoise blue, like my favorite. And then yeah, because I'm looking at pixels up so closely, I kind of keep it neutral everywhere else. So yeah,
Would you say that that's your home?
yeah, for sure. I mean, like a small pop of color here and there, but definitely neutral
Yeah.
overall.
I mean, we're in your home right now, so people can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I love it. There is something fresh, right?
Yeah.
Um, so describe the space where you make your art.
So where I edit is in my basement. Not that inspiring currently, but where I do clay. I've rented space out of the Jamestown Art Center for years, and I've currently, for the past couple of years, been at the Newport Art Museum, which is a beautiful space, and they're very kind to me and come and go as I please. So I love it.
Awesome. How did your school system support your interests in art growing up? You talked a little bit about it in Miami, so
Yeah.
can you tell us more
So
about that?
um, we're very lucky, at least in Miami, where there was a strong magnet arts program kind of across Miami-Dade County. Several schools um, that you would audition and could go to. And I did attend three of those schools throughout my childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were just so supportive. You just built a portfolio and
Correct. Yeah. So you did your main schooling, right? Like all of your main curriculum. And then after that, when everyone else would leave, the magnet art students stay behind, whether it was dance, music, drama, visual arts, which was myself. And it would be an extended school day for 3 hours. And we would be doing our art during those 3 hours. So yeah, it took a lot of time and dedication, especially from a young age moving forward. Um, because when we came home, I still had all of my schoolwork to do. And then we still, even after that, would have our art projects or dances or, different plays that you were rehearsing, which would take you kind of into the middle of the night and then we'd start all over again first thing in the morning.
I love that.
Yeah.
How do you see your work evolving or changing in the future? What do you have planned?
So I definitely, I'm going to continue with photography because it is a love and it is a part of my business. In terms of clay, I'm always researching, finding new inspiration, um, um, different projects and different ways of manipulation, and so that is going to continue forward as well.
Cool. Is making art emotional process for you or strategic?
I think it's always been strategic because I do have a sales and marketing background. So, when I did start photography again in my adulthood, it was a strategic move. We stop right there?
No, we're good.
Okay.
There's noise outside, but
Okay.
it's fine.
You want to ask me that again?
Sure.
Because they're delivering the wood right now. Sorry.
That's okay. That's fine. So my question is art an emotional process for you or strategic?
It's always been strategic because I do have a sales and marketing background. So when I did pick up photography again in my adulthood, it was definitely with the intention to make it into a business. I think that's why I love my time in the pottery just as much because that is more emotional. And if you are not fully centered yourself, then the clay is going to 100% dictate your current mood. So you have to come in with a great attitude. Otherwise, the clay is going to kind of give it right back to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through your creative process from idea to finished piece? Is that possible?
With photography, it's more of a feeling because a lot of the times, like this morning, I had a shoot and I had met the family for the first time. I knew the mother a little bit, but I had never met the father. And especially with children, you never know what you're going to get. It's sort of a mixed bag. It could be great. It could be a really rambunctious crew. So it does take time to sort of get people to warm up to you because it can be really intimidating to just be like, hi, my name's so and so. And like now we've got a camera in your face and you have to smile and, emote, which isn't always easy for a lot of people. So,
Wow. Um, how do you combine the art you love to make and the art you sell?
so I think that is more towards, when I was making jewelry and leatherworking and now with clay, I do it on a smaller scale. So I don't put any pressure on myself. Otherwise, it does tend to feel like you're sort of like a machine that needs to continue to kind of crank things out, like sort of industrial fashion. Um, so yeah, I just kind of take my time, again, small batch, no pressure, and do what you love.
Love that. Um, so is I'm gonna skip to this one because you already answered the one I was just gonna ask you. How do people find your art to purchase?
I currently am not selling anything at the moment, but I do some like smaller festivals around the holidays with pottery, typically at Newport Art Museum or was it Jamestown Art Center. And I have considered selling prints for photography on my website, but that just hasn't come to fruition. a lot going on. So
Can people book you for photography sessions?
yeah, so
Yeah.
they can find me at lisetterooneyphotography.com. They can find me on Instagram, which is also lisetterooneyphotography.com, and Facebook as well.
We'll put that information on the show notes. Can you share a recent project or a piece of work that you're particularly happy about?
Yes, I had the honor to work with an amazing potter. Her name's Nancy Lyons. She has her own studio in Greenwich. And we worked in studio during class first. It was kind of an advanced pottery class that I took from her. And then we came to her home and we did a pit firing, which was super cool. I love the process. You're adding all of these like organic materials, building a giant fire, and 24 hours later, you open up the pit. You don't know what you're going to get, but I was thrilled with the product that came out, and definitely my treasured pieces that I have currently.
Oh, that's cool. Can we take a picture of that
Yeah,
for the
absolutely.
website?
Yeah.
Cool. How do you stay motivated as an artist?
I just have an internal drive that keeps me going. Um, my parents have always said there's either workhorses or shore horses. I've always considered myself a workhorse. I do like to accomplish a lot during a day. Um, and really, it's the people that I'm working with that keep me motivated. Again, like when I'm editing them and like seeing those smiles again and seeing those like connections between family, that is 100% like inspirational and what I want to continue moving forward.
Well, that's cool. Are there any artists or creatives who have inspired or influenced your work?
Not so much. I think as a child, I loved Ansel Adams. That was a big inspiration to me, the way that he incorporated, nature and then sometimes people in his photography, and then just like the feat of knowing the type of equipment he was hauling to these remote places. I thought was super interesting. So when I was dreaming as a child, I thought, oh my gosh, to be a photographer for like National Geographic and travel and explore would be ideal. And I still gain a lot of inspiration from, different places that we travel to and the people that we meet along the way.
That's cool. What advice would you give to an aspiring artist looking to pursue a career in the arts?
I think it's something that you should practice every day, whether it's just a few minutes of sketching or just a few minutes of taking photos or going through the process of setting up your palette. Even if you're not going to physically paint that day, I think to keep your hand in the motion of doing is really helpful. I know for me personally, especially with photography, if I'm not doing it every day, you kind of forget about it. I mean, there's times where, burnout, it's a real thing. And I do get really tired, especially after a summer season. Um, so I remind myself, like, yes, take the camera to the birthday party or take the camera, just on a drive. And if you see something beautiful, just stop the car and take a photograph because, it'll make you happy at the end of the day.
Love that. Um, what is your favorite book, movie, song, or podcast?
My favorite movie of all time has to be a French flick called Amelie. I'm obsessed. Really?
That's my favorite movie.
I not only the music, but just like
Yay.
the characters and yeah, the humor that's in it. It's just it cracks me up every time. Every
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
yeah, same.
Yeah.
hmm how about a book or a song?
I am in a book club. I'm terrible at reading the books, though I do
Mhm.
go through the process of either listening to them. Um, I don't currently have any standouts. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Um,
Music.
music. I am a South Beach girl from Miami, so I do love a club vibe every once in a while to get me pumped up. Or some old school hip hop, but really, I do love all genres.
Nice. Is there a book that you recommend over and over again to people?
It's not so much a book. I love David Sedaris as an author. I've read almost all of his books, and he was actually in Newport last winter, and I went to see him speak. I think his sense of humor is dark, and I totally love the sarcasm and yeah, that sense of humor. So David Sedaris is like my go-to author for sure.
Nice. Um, what do you want to talk about that I didn't ask?
How how did you come about doing this podcast? What was your inspiration?
I just want to hang out with artists.
Yeah. What is your favorite art? Do you make art on your own?
I do, yeah. Right now I'm working in pastels for the cover art of the blog posts.
Amazing.
And I draw people at the Newport with Bill Height
Okay.
sometimes. I mean, that's where I started when I was
Yeah.
young. And so drawing, painting, Luke Randall was my last teacher.
Yeah.
So oils, still life. I'm kind of all over the map
Yeah.
with I like working in wood, metal, everything. I
Yeah.
like all of it, but my go-to is I don't know. I'm digging the pastels right now.
Nice.
Yeah. You're the first person to ask me.
Really?
That's okay. That's so funny. Put on the spot. Well, thank you so much, Lisette, for talking to us today. I felt inspired for sure by your
Yeah.
answers. I love everything. And we'll see you all next time.
Thanks.